My name's Lissa Bowen, and I'm the Senior Director of Talent Acquisition for Focus Brands. Focus Brands is an owner and operator of 4,500 outlets around the world of Auntie Anne's and Cinnabon, Most Southwest Grill, and some other brands as well.
Now, so you have a really interesting story of when you interviewed for the role you're in right now. Can you tell us what that is and what insight that's imparted on you for recruiting in general?
Sure. When I started to interview for the job, I had my first telephone interview with a hiring manager, and he asked me a couple of questions about my background that probably would not have made me the best candidate for the job. So he asked me if I had done international recruiting, and I said, no, I haven't. And he asked me if I had done supply chain recruiting, which I hadn't. So I knew that probably he was thinking, perhaps not. So I let him know that I knew a whole lot of people that had done both of those things as well as some other things very, very well, and that when I called, they still pick up the phone and would be happy to help me. So the message I left him with was, when you hire me, you hire my network, and I have an incredibly talented network. And it worked. And I'm there now. So I think that what I learned about it, or from it, I guess, was that the power of your network really can make an impact on how well you can do your job, and then in my case, even what job you could get.
And so when you stepped into your senior director position, you had over 50 reqs to fill right out the gate. How did you leverage your network to make that happen?
Well, and of course, interestingly enough, a whole lot of those jobs were in international and supply chain. So I had to put my money where my mouth was and really utilize my network, and I did. And so many people in my network were very helpful in giving me tips and ideas and resources and referrals and how to get a lot of those roles filled in the areas that I didn't have experience in. So it worked out very well, and we still have a lot of reqs open, but it's a little bit more manageable now. I think that networking is a two-way street. I think that it's reciprocal. It has to be. I think that networking has to be what I call other-centered. So when people reach out to me, I try to help in any way that I can. And I think that when you network, if you add value to somebody else's network, then the laws of the universe would say that that value will come back to you. So to me, networking has to be you add value, you get value back. It's just the way that it works. So what I've tried to do, particularly with people in C-level or higher level roles, is I try to find people with a compelling story that I don't really need or want anything from. And I might write them a note or an in-mail or whatever that looks like and say, you have a really amazing career. And if you ever have 15 minutes, I would just love to hear more about how you've accomplished some of the things that you've accomplished without asking for anything else. And I would say 90% of the time, I get a great response and somebody spends time on the phone with me.
The videos on recruiting advice for small to mid-sized business recruiters who are in that stage of growing their company. And is there anything else any other pieces of advice that you would impart in addition to, what you've shared is fantastic.
I like to go one level up when I'm asking for referrals. So if I need a director, I might go to some VPs and I'll say, hey, is there anybody in your network that might be interested in my role? And I find that that's been really successful for me, and it helps to expand my network at higher levels too, at the more executive level. So it's really a win-win. It helps me. It allows somebody who's been a mentor to refer people to jobs that would be of interest to them, and it gets me a lot of fantastic candidates. I wish I'd known it earlier in my career, that if I add value, I get so much back. And I think that that's words to live by.